Hi everyone, this is John with Front Range Anglers, and today we're going to be going over a quick and easy way to set up some really effective dry droppers and hopper dropper rigs for the Front Range and all across Colorado. Alright guys, so before we get started, let's go over the materials that we're going to be using. To start off, we're going to be having this Umpqua Perform X nylon 7.5 foot leader in 5X. So that's going to be our basing for this. Then we're going to go to some Perform X again 5X nylon tippet. And for the dropper, you can either use nylon or fluoro, but I'll show you guys how to do it with some fluoro as well. So I have the Deceiver X and then the Phantom X from Umpqua as well, both in 5X. You can definitely drop down in size for these, but we'll talk through that as we go through it. On the fly side of things, for the dry and the dropper, we're going to have a golden Chubby Chernobyl and a Superman Caddis, both great ones for these rigs. And then for the droppers, we're going to go ahead and do a Perdigon, classic Perdigon, and then a Frenchie, two patterns that you really can't go wrong anywhere in Colorado for sure. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with our leader. So I have my leader here, and there's a number of different ways that we can do this. You can absolutely tie your top fly right to the end of your leader, but I personally like to let my leader last as long as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get a smaller section of tippet, and I'm going to connect the two by doing a triple surgeon's knot. So I'm going to get a little bit of slack line from my leader. I'm going to get my tippet, and I'm going to go ahead and cross those over each other, just like so. So I have my tippet on that little short end, or this is the tag of my leader. And I'm going to go ahead and cross those over just in a little loop. Alright, so we have our loop, and then I'm going to get both my tag ends and I'm going to pull them through the loop once, twice, and 3 times. Hence the name triple surgeons. Pretty simple knot. I'm going to go ahead, make sure my tags are relatively even. I'm going to go ahead and wet that. And basically we're just going to pull those pieces together until that knot cinches down. I like to pull on all the little tags to make sure that everything's seated down nicely. And then we're going to go off and trim off our tag ends. Alright, so now you can see we have connected our leader to a small piece of tippet, nothing too long, maybe about 8 inches or so. And then I'm going to attach this to my caddis fly. So I'm going to go through the eye of the hook. I'm going to do my little trick I like to do for attaching my fly on. I'm going to pull the line tight. I'm going to pinch with one of my hands, so my left hand I'm going to pinch, my right hand I'm going to twist my fingers. It's going to wrap those coils up just like it would for a clinch, and then I'm going to put my tag in through that loop, wet it, and seat it down nice and tight. Go ahead, trim off that tag. Oops, I missed it. Trim off that tag end, so now we are connected to our fly with our tippet. Now, a couple people do this different ways. You can do them off droppers or tags. You can also go ahead and tie straight to the eye of the hook. I personally like to tie to the bend of the hook. That's just personally how I like to tie mine, but everyone's a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and get now a piece of our fluoro. Now, you don't have to use fluoro, but I'm a fan of doing it for the dropper section. So lengthwise, generally you're going to do about 1.5 times the length or the depth of the water that you're fishing. This can vary depending on how fast or slow the water is going and how heavy or light your fly is, but I'm just going to pull off a small section for the sake of this video. But more times than not, my droppers are going to be anywhere, I'd say on average, maybe around 2 to 3 feet on average, but that does change quite a bit. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do that same trick I was doing to get my loop for the bend of the hook. I'm gonna twist one of my fingers, it's gonna do the wraps on itself. I'm gonna pinch it right at the connection point, pull that tag right through the loop, wet it, and just pull it just a little bit to help kind of seat that first part of the clinch. And then I'm going to bring my caddisfly, put the bend of the hook, point of the hook right through the actual knot itself, pull that down. We'll go ahead and trim off our excess, just like so. So now we are tied in nice and tight to our dry fly. You can do the same thing with a hopper as well, all applies. And then I'm going to get Perdigon and tie on the dropper side of it. Come on, eyes, there we go. So we go through the eye of the hook, yet again, pull nice flat, do our twist, pinch at the connection point, bring that tag through the loop, pull it slightly, give it a wet, pull it tight. We're nice and tight on. One of the benefits of fishing this rig is definitely in Colorado and all throughout the Front Range. It's a very effective way to fish. You're fishing subsurface with your nymph, and then you're also fishing the actual surface of the water with your dry fly or hopper, so you're covering multiple ranges and the river columns themselves. And it's very easy to cast, and you only need to know 2 knots to do so. You can be very successful with this rig all over, and yet again, all you really need to know is clinch knots and your triple surgeons, and you can go out and absolutely slay some fish with this technique. So if you haven't fished already, give it a shot and let us know if you guys have any suggestions for future videos. And like always, guys, thank you so much.